Welcome to the weekly video digest of Kashmir University Quest. First, let's take a look at the highlights. A 7-day workshop on research methodology concludes. DSW organizes breast cancer awareness. Sonsal Student Festival to begin soon. And some notifications from the university. Now the details with your host Binish Ali. A 7-day workshop on research methodology in economics and allied subjects, organized by the Department of Economics, concluded. The workshop was organized to acquaint the participants with use and application of research methods and techniques for analysis and comprehensive interpretation of both quantitative and qualitative data. Speaking on the valedictory function, Head Department of Economics, Professor Ifat Yasmin, said that research workshops are held to impart training to scholars so that they are able to do sound research through both qualitative and quantitative methods.
Department of Economics since last 3 years has taken up an initiative to impart training in research methods and techniques which are purely based upon empirical data and where software packages, innovative and technology-based research training is required. So this workshop is in fact 7th in row in last 3 years, where we had number of workshops in collaboration with some important ministries. Last year we had 10 days workshop in collaboration with the Indian Econometric Society. We all know that seminars and conferences, they have their own relevance, importance. But workshops, they are target oriented, they are focused, and we here in economics try to remain highly focused so far as devising the schedules of these workshops.
Former Head of Economics Department, Professor B.A. Khan, asserted that without in-depth knowledge of methodology, it is difficult to defend any conclusion derived from a particular research topic.
This process should not come to an end. It should be a continuous effort, because without adequate, in-depth knowledge of research methodology and econometrics, the researchers find it very difficult to come to meaningful conclusions. I have seen students, I have evaluated various students during interviews, I have seen them using various research techniques, but they are not able to defend their conclusions because of two things. Number one, their theoretical background is weak and their knowledge of research methodology is also incomplete. Therefore, I would make a suggestion that whenever such programs are held, there should be 2 sessions on each day. One should focus only on theoretical aspects, particularly in the field of microeconomics, macroeconomics, and other important fields in which the research is being done. And the second session should be on the research methodology so that students can correlate the theoretical knowledge with the practical aspects.
Dean Research Professor Zafar Ahmed Rishi opined that research scholars are often confused during the time of research activity, which is reflected in their work.
My experience with all of us, the people who have done research here, is that once they submit the thesis, then all of a sudden they realize that how it was to be done. But by that time it is too late. Anyhow, I had the occasion of going through the synopsis also. We have had a very large number of boards of research studies convened very recently, including social science. We had this meeting twice. We realized that the questions that are being asked are not great questions. If you do not ask a great question, you are not going to go anywhere. There is no harm in asking a great question. And once you ask that great question, then the issue of research methodology would arise. Our understanding is that people presumably lack in, say, a student does not know, who's a master's student, one should expect that he does not know how to actually build a synopsis. He writes every detail, and in that detail, he misses the or she misses the actual point that was to be highlighted.
He also talked to the students on how to make a synopsis and on different ways to do quality research.
There is a particular way of writing a synopsis. The first paragraph should be a problem statement. You are, say, directly coming to the problem, that this is what the problem is. And then analyzing this problem is very important. I mean, after all, once you have identified the problem has to be very important. I mean, it should make sense also to us. And once that has been done, then you will set out a hypothesis, research objectives, questions asked. That depends upon your culture as to whether you write a synopsis, somebody asks questions, somebody does something else. And then what is the type of methodology that you are going to answer those questions. And if you get this correct, half the battle is won. And by and large, the problem with all of us is that we do not lay a lot of emphasis on problem formulation. And in the process, what happens, the student suffers, he spends a lot of time with us, but the dividends or the reward that he should have got, he doesn't get it. Because we do not get it correct in the beginning. I remember what Albert Einstein says, that he argues that, say, asking a question is something which is very important. Then resolving that problem is not that great. Anybody can resolve it.
Assistant Professor from the Department of Economics, Dr. Javed Iqbal Khan, was the workshop coordinator. The Department of Students' Welfare organized a day-long awareness program on breast cancer. The program aimed at looking into the various facets of breast cancer and how to make women more aware of it. Dean Students' Welfare Professor G.N. Khaki said that this awareness program is being held to make people conscious about the risk of ignoring symptoms of cancer.
Earlier we had made some programs for both male and female students, but presently this one-day awareness program has been specifically concerned for our female students of the university. So as see you all happy, prosperous in your life, youth as well as the age that you are going to face the difficulties the moment you come to the, with every passing day. We have never been unmindful of the requirements of the students. We have a good number of programs in pipeline for both our male and female students of the university. We always wish and aspire your active participation in all the programs.
Head of the Biotechnology Department, Professor Rais Qadri, said that everybody carries cancer cells, but they remain dormant in most.
Every individual is carrying cancer cells in his body. Body has its own immune system. So we have 3 stages. One, immune system eliminates these cancer cells. If they are not been eliminated, then there's a second stage where there's an equilibrium. So that is basically, tug of war between immune cells and the cancer cells. So if that stage is crossed, then you have an escape. That means that cancer cell escape from the natural immune system and it develops the tumor, and gradually a patient becomes metastatic. So a couple of things I would like to share with you out of our experience. We've been working on lung cancer, we've been working on breast cancer, we've been working on the colon cancer. Right. There are a couple of things why we have to be very careful, because these cancers have been developed, different mutations which has been caused by UV exposure, and drug-induced mutations are there. And nowadays, which is very common, that is pesticides and fertilizers, which we are taking almost every day with our rice or the vegetables which is being grown with these pesticides and fertilizers. So they are carcinogenic. Okay, you develop different types of cancers with that.
Surgical oncologist Dr. Qazi Ashraf told participants that for the next 50 years, it will get difficult to prevent cancers and doctors should concentrate on early detection of cancer.
As I see it now, for 50 years, it will be very difficult to prevent the cancer per se, because the lifestyle has changed, everything has changed. There is a basic structure in the human body which has to be there and which is not going to be changed radically. It can be modified, yes, there will be modifications, but the radical change and preventing cancer from forming is a very, very difficult scenario. I would rather like to make a point that we should be able to detect the cancer in the earliest stages. I think that should be our target for next 50 years. And detecting cancer at a very early stage is not impossible. It is possible. It's fairly possible. And for the breast cancer, it should not be any problem at all. I fail to understand sometimes when patients come to me with very advanced breast cancers, because breast is such a thing which is self-evident. Even after that, people somehow, I don't know, maybe out of the taboo, social taboo or other things, try to deliberately ignore the things and get themselves into problems.
Dr. Ashraf also told the participants that breast cancer is a curable one.
Now, breast cancer is such a cancer which is defined as curable cancer. There are only some cancers which can be categorized as curable cancers, and breast cancer is one of them. There are only almost 3 cancers which are curable at present. Number 1 comes breast, number 2 is colon, and number 3 is thyroid cancer. Right? In solid tumors, I'm talking about solid tumors. There are other blood cancers, other things, they are curable. But in solid tumors, breast, colon, and the thyroid cancer, they form a category of curable diseases. Now, breast cancer, to me, is no longer a cancer. It's basically a chronic disease. It's a disease which can be said that it goes on for a long time. But if it crosses a certain limit, if it crosses a certain perimeter, it becomes as bad as anything in the world, as bad as any disease, any cancerous disease, and kills miserably.
Sonzal 2017 is going to be held in the 3rd week of December in the campus. It is a student festival that attracts students from all over the valley to participate in different literary and cultural events. Cultural Officer Mr. Shahid Ali Khan said that it is after 3 years that Sonzal is being conducted and around 1,200 students are expected to participate.
We expect to organize this year's festival during the 3rd week of December 2017, and I expect around 1,200 students to participate in this year's festival. It's a fact that we couldn't organize this festival for the last during 2014 due to 15 and 16, and 14 due to floods, then 16 due to the turmoil in city. And Alhamdulillah, we are all set to organize it in the university campus.
He said that those students who excel in Sonzal have an opportunity to represent the University of Kashmir in the North Zone Festival and finally in national and international festivals.
Sonzal, as we all know, means rainbow. It's a Kashmiri word, and it begins as a small idea in 2007. And since then, it's an annual activity of the university. Students from the departments and affiliated colleges participate in this youth festival. Around 20 events we are holding in the domain of art, culture, literature, fine arts and music. And the outcome, the winners of this youth festival, represent the University of Kashmir in the Inter-University Youth Festival that's scheduled this year in Ambala in January 2016. It's a North India level youth festival, and the winners of North India Youth Festival will be called by Association of Indian University to participate in the national level event, and after that international event.
Mr. Khan said that principals and heads of all higher education institutions have to nominate students to participate in the festival.
We have forwarded the greetings, invitation to all the affiliated colleges, including our professional college, SSM College, Government Medical College, Government Dental College. They are constituent colleges with the University of Kashmir. And the procedure is very small, very simple. Principals and the college conveners have been requested to select the best students in the different categories in debate. We have asked 2 students in allocation competition. We have asked again 2 students in quiz. We have asked 3 participants in other fine arts, music, and we have asked 5 participants in each category. They'll select the best from their college, from their departments, and then they will meet at the Sonzal Youth Festival, and we'll select 1 in each category, and they'll be deputed to Association of Indian University, where they will meet with the rest of North Indian students.
He said that Sonzal is a platform for students to interact with each other and develop their personalities.
It's a huge platform for the students. Students get an opportunity to represent themselves. They get in touch with the rest of the students who are from different background and different cultures, and they get to know each other. It's a personality development program. It's an integration program. Students get contacted with rest of the college students and rest of the students who are pursuing their graduation and post-graduation in the rest of the country.
Now some important notifications from the university. The Jammu and Kashmir State Eligibility Test J&K SET 2017 and 18 will be held on 11th March 2018 for determining the eligibility of J&K state subjects for the eligibility for Assistant Professor in colleges and universities of Jammu and Kashmir State. The date of submitting forms online begins from 13th December. The last date for online applications is 28 December. Applications are invited from the eligible candidates for the position of Research Associate for the research project entitled Convergence of Traditional Knowledge Systems for Integration to Sustainable Development in the Indian Himalayan Region. The applications with full details along with copies of relevant documents should reach to the office of the Center for Biodiversity and Taxonomy, Department of Botany, by or before 16th December. PhD in botany or environmental science is an essential qualification for the post. For further details, you can log on to kashmiruniversity.net or kashmiruniversity.ac.in. With this, we come to the end of today's program. In case you've missed some part of the program, you can log on to emmrckashmir.com where you can watch the whole episode. Do send us your suggestions at our email address quest@emmrckashmir.com. Finding a purpose in life is very important for success. John F. Kennedy said, "Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction." With these words, I take your leave. See you next week. Goodbye.